Coinbase App Store ranking is number 35. Should we be concerned? If you've been following me for a while, like I've been following you, you're my friend, the Coinbase App Store ranking has had a 100% strike rate of predicting the crypto cycle top. 2017 December, topped. And then it had April in 2021, topped. And then it also had like October, November, it topped. So is it going to hit number one exactly right on cue now? Well, since the information has been discovered, remember, friends, I'm using the others BTC as a guiding star. So it could be, it is possible. We always got to think about how could we get screwed even looking at this others BTC? And the answer would be where others BTC, it's altcoins outside of the top 10. So one way we all get wrecked is if new people come in and they only retail, they buy Bitcoin, they don't touch Ethereum. That's one. Another one is they only buy like really cheap coins. And they keep like going to really small micro cap stuff. The likelihood of this though, friends, it's small. Why? Because like to cheat an index, it's tough. Because others is related to Ethereum as well. So this, you can see it on the others ETH ratio. Others ETH is actually 0.9 now. Now, this ratio is very important, right? Effectively, if a lot of the retail just buy Bitcoin and they buy ETH will go up and you're going to have the psychological wealth effect. You will have it. So can they just like skip ETH? What if they just buy Solana? It's possible. That is possible, friends. If they just bought Solana and maybe Solana smaller stuff happens. So I'm just trying to show you different things. Just that it's unlikely that because what happens, friends, is even if one sector goes up, eventually it starts slowing down and people think they're late to that. And then the product market fit is exhausted. So they go to something else and that starts moving up. Now, it's unlikely people just keep buying one thing forever. That would be breaking the laws of psychological wealth effect. It's never been broken before in history. Okay. So altcoins, right? This is just showing you that actions speak louder than words. And when people's actions are pumping up altcoins as a whole up high as a ratio against Bitcoin, which is going up here, that's just showing you that things are there. Those are the things to be concerned about. Even though the Coinbase App Store ranking might top out before then. Okay. So it's important to look at these data points as well. We've got like other exotic top signals. Remember, like a $1 billion raise or someone taking out like a lot of leverage on the new asset impression of the new tech innovation of whatever it is that cycle is. In December 2021, if we go back and we check it out here, December 2021, Meta 4, I think their name was, Meta 4 right here, they took out a loan on their CryptoPunks, I think, for a couple of $1 million. So NFTs went from, they'll let you worth nothing. They went up 100x in a year, CryptoPunks, and then people started getting loans on it. They'll start doing the collateral margin stuff on it. Maybe by the end of this year, some big fund puts meme coins on their balance sheet and they take loans on that. Okay, so just showing you there's other exotic top signals that we don't just have to rely on the Coinbase App Store ranking by itself to determine whether it's over or not, in my opinion. Overall, though, as well, I am waiting for altcoins to go up. Thank you to Mr. J Plush for making this picture. Very funny picture. Please, Mr. Altcoin, please. Can you please go up and to the right? Friends, The Walking Dead. Man, I've got great memories watching that. I love zombie stuff out here. Have you ever played the interactive game, the cartoony games? I really recommend it on PC. That was cool. Now what I'm going to do is, of course, play some Frankie G music. Let's talk about crypto. Memes, cults, religions, right? It's one thing to understand this, and it's another thing to understand the price targets you need. Okay, so memes, cults, religions, we get it, friends. Everything starts as a meme. You grow into a cult. You become a religion. Okay, Bitcoin is a religion. That's what's all coming out right here. But if we go into the weeds out here, these is like your fundamental undertone to show you some belief. Like, oh, wow, I'm going to, I guess, keep holding throughout the cycle, no matter what happens. Okay, as we got to see, like XRP, friends, look at XRP doing this massive floor over a long time. If you're wondering what is this box out here, that's where BCB wants to get out. That's where he thinks like it's kind of funny, man. It's just like he's an XRP maxi, and that's it. That's pretty much. No, he's not a maxi. He's not a maxi. He's got 60% of his portfolio XRP, but like it's just, man, it's just that's considered a big win. See how the goalpost has been moved? It's like, that's like, by the way, you waited like literally, this is 7 years. Boop, that's a win. Well, that's how tough it is to outperform BTC. Now, I've just showed you XRP BTC ratio. You can look at others as well. Remember, I've done, you can look at PulseChain core coins. When we look at Pulse to ETH ratio, it's very important. So if you look at, friends, the Hex all-time high price was 55 cents USD. Okay, but that's not the real high, because Bitcoin was only like $45,000 back then. Now Bitcoin's 104K. So you can get the ratio at the time, and that's how you compute what the real Hex price high is. It is $1.28 right now. Okay, so Hex must rally 67x to get back to the high. So right now the combined Hex price is 1.9 cents. Okay, so it's 1.9. And you can actually just see it on the Hex combinator price. It's actually 1.9. So this is where it is all the way down there. So it has to get to, the new hurdle rate is literally $1.28. And like here it is up here, $1.28, 65x. So you've said to me, hey, Somi, what happens if we don't hit $1.28 right now? Okay, here's the thing. That's based off Bitcoin 105,000. If Bitcoin is 200K, your hurdle rate becomes $2.50. You might say to me, okay, what happens if we don't hit $2.50 Hex when Bitcoin is $200,000? Well, all that means, friends, is you just have a chart like most altcoins where you bleed against Bitcoin over time. So basically, it means the top buyers, they have like lost all their purchasing power. Pretty much. They're losing their purchasing power to BTC over time because BTC keeps going up. Okay, that's what it basically means. That's why you can show these, like I'll just bring it to your attention again, the XRP BTC ratio, it is still down since launch, 42%. Okay, so that's what it comes at. So XRP guys who bought the top, they're still down 86% from April 17. But even if, friends, you know, like September 13, okay, XRP, you're down 65%. Basically, Bitcoin's gone up a certain amount, and you've only gone up a third of that, 1/3. Now you gotta remember, man, you can't let yourself get grifted. Like, if you're going to take on risk, you must get compensated for the reward. You must. Like, why play Russian roulette with yourself if the win, if you survive Russian roulette, is just, oh, here's a pat on the shoulder. You're like, I'm not. There's a 1 in 6 chance I blow my head off, man. I'm not playing Russian roulette for a pat on the shoulder. You got to raise up the stakes. You got to think, okay, how much money do I think it's worth? So you got to think about it. Okay, so you don't play the game if the upside isn't there. That's why you got to look for buy low, buy in the depression. Okay, so that's what you're thinking about. You're like, well, I don't think there's as much upside. It doesn't matter. You don't know the future. Your head can still get blown off. Just that if you're looking for games where the reward is higher than what most people are seeking, then you're obviously on average looking for cheaper prices, which is going to help you succeed in the long run. Now, I've actually got the Hex BTC ratio, for example. So I've got the combined Hex price. So this horizontal line is Hex BTC today. If it got back to the high, there you go. It's actually like 57x needed from today to get back to the high. But remember, BTC moves up along the same way. So the hurdle rate gets higher. But yeah, man, it's not an easy game because if you go and look at Ethereum, friends, Ethereum is still down after 8 years, man. After 8 long years, ETH BTC. By the way, even if it goes up here, it's still like, yeah, it's not pretty at all. So the growth rate of Bitcoin going up for 3 years and only down for 1 year, it makes the hurdle rates more difficult to achieve for altcoins, and therein lies the problem. That's why we get to see the market makeup. Okay, people just, they reach a point in the game and like, you know what, I'm just trying something new. I'm just trying new stuff. Like they keep saying this thing isn't working, you know, etc. This thing isn't working. There is only one unicorn out there in crypto that has actually beaten all of these, and it is Dogecoin. Dogecoin is the only coin that has rallied against BTC over time. Took 10 years though. Took 10 years. This is what Dogecoin looked like here though. This is what it looked like. Okay, it was that. So imagine that it came back one, like here, two, one, and it came for the third time, and then it looked like, look at this, man. It looked like it was come back down. It did a 62% retrace, and then Elon came and smacked it up. So you can see it on that chart here. So yeah, Dogecoin, the hardest money, as Warren Powell says, it's actually true. It is the hardest money. It outperformed Bitcoin over 10 years. This is the only one. This is showing you the odds. So if you are faced with like exuberant, euphoric prices in 12 months from now, I want you to just think about the odds of what it is. So if you believe what you're in is like different this time, even then you're like, well, there's 100 people in the room. Everybody thinks their thing is the one unicorn. So you have to attribute odds. So you might even say, this could save your life, by the way. It could say, well, I think I'm right, but I don't know I'm right. So maybe I'm just 50-50. So maybe I'll just sell half and I keep half. Just that taking profit on half could save your life. As you get to see, a lot of people, yes, you got to see just how, because of just how far down the altcoins go in the following cycles. Using these like hurdle rate prices as well, friends. You know Ethereum's hurdle rate price. See how Ethereum's, everyone thinks, oh, Ethereum, your high is $4,900 from 2021. No. Based off ETH BTC's 2021 ratio high, Ethereum's price is actually, the hurdle rate is $9,000 around that point. So its high isn't actually 5. Pretty much, friends, if Ethereum goes to like 7,500, okay, you haven't won yet. If you're in Ethereum hold, you have not won. You're still range mode on ETH BTC. Now, this is what gets nuts, because if Bitcoin goes to 200K, Ethereum's hurdle is now 18,000. And if you're using the June 2017 price, the ETH BTC ratio high for Ethereum, the hurdle rate becomes $32,000. So that's why it gets tougher and tougher over time. And I think a lot of this cycle just, and friends, a lot of Bitcoin maxis always say like, oh, yeah, after your first cycle, everyone becomes a Bitcoin maxi because you just realize that everything else is bleeding out over time. But that doesn't mean you don't play the game. It just gives you an idea of the stakes are high if it's euphoria and you're not accounting for an unknown future. That's what I'm saying. The stakes are high. So I'm not saying don't play. I keep playing. You can do whatever you want. I obviously keep playing the game, cycles, you do this work. But like, we're not at euphoria yet. So now you know, okay, I get it, Simon. Thank you so much. If we do get euphoria and you have people saying 4-year cycle doesn't apply, this time is different, we're having a modular adjudication of the cycles. Bitcoin's going to 500K, so don't worry about this price. When they start selling all these, maybe in 12 months, maybe 9, 10 months. When we start hearing that, you just got to understand that, yes, the cost of you being wrong, yes, it's 3 years of your alt BTC value dropping. Now, friends, I want to end with something pretty cool. We're just going to go through some PulseChain price expectations, okay? I made this post here, and I've got these different scenarios for PulseChain. You notice this green anti-gravity scenario, 1000x, optimistic 100x, average 28, poop 14, ultra bear 8. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. What I can do is, though, I'll pay for you some pump music. Okay. Listen, learn from the great Warren Buffett. Okay, let me tell you something. Warren Buffett, I'll never forget this. Never forget this. What he said. He says, forecasts of prices tell you nothing about the future. He goes, he's seen every single forecaster. He's seen them all. He goes, forecasts tell you nothing about the future. All they tell you is something about the forecaster. Okay? Now, think about that when you hear any price predictions for crypto. All it tells you is something about the forecaster. It tells you information out there. So, I don't have forecasts, okay? I don't. All I'm doing is showing you is just what's possible, okay? Now, I've gone through, remember, in this hyper, look at this. This is a hyper anti-gravity scenario, 1000x, 2.5 trillion. So what I've done is I've gone through each scenario, and you can go down the line. So what would the 1000x scenario be from today? Everything goes up 1000x. So remember, what you're starting is 3.5 billion. So 3.5 billion is the Richard Heart core coins, what they added up today. Okay. Now, remember, these things can go a bit to the upside because Richard could own a lot of the coins, which you think he does. He owns a lot of the liquid circulating supply, which he just never sells, which just sits there. So that's dormant. So you think there are players out in the market, but it's actually just one guy, which is very, very advantageous. That's exactly what you want. So if you get a hint of these things, that kind of like tells you, just be careful about cheating a bit too early if you think you're so sure. And, a lot of people are just going to cheat early anyway, okay? So the anti-gravity scenario, 1000x, I've read in this scenario, the anti-gravity scenario. So I think you only get that if pDAI and the core coins are bonded and pDAI goes to $1 soon. And it goes to $1 and then it does like a 66x. And then that means like all the other core coins rise up like 30 to 50x with it. Okay, so that's the early part. And then after pDAI pegs, you begin like this anti-gravity scenario where the liquidity bonding is done. pDAI is linked to like eDAI and EUSDT, and then there's more minting of pDAI happens and it thrashes everything up. Okay, that's like, it's basically alien technology at that point. So shout out to the alien ecosystem, PTGC. Love you guys over there. So yeah, that would be that's literally anti-gravity. That would give you 1000x. It's almost, you split it up in two scenarios. Maybe a 30x first and a 30x again gives you 900 to 1000x. That's one scenario. But in this scenario, you've blown the roof off. So this gives 2.5 trillion market cap for Richard Heart core coins, which means Richard Heart is 25% dominant of the whole crypto industry. He is 25%. And just to show you today, you can actually look at Ethereum's dominance. Ethereum is only 11%. Okay, 11%. So Ethereum did peak around 20%. It's down to 11%. So I'm just showing you, it's literally a total takeover. Now, most people, I guess if you asked them a year ago, people saying this, they'll say, don't worry, Richard's going to be streaming again. All these things are going to be up. We're going to be up 30x higher. So that's where they were accounting for. Maybe the streaming has a lot to do with it. Maybe it doesn't. You tell me. Maybe pDAI has a lot to do with it. Okay, so that's the ultimate 1000x scenario. Richard literally takes over all the crypto. You got 25% in the industry. The optimistic scenario is a 100x. Okay, so it's this next one. Optimistic 100x. It's about 250 to 300 billion market cap. So in this optimistic scenario, you do the same thing, except there's no super bonding with the pDAI first. So basically, pDAI gets to $1 eventually, all right? But the core coins, they don't move up like 30 to 50x with it. They only move up like 10. Okay, so they move up 10 instead of 60. It's a big difference. Or 10 instead of 30. And then after pDAI pegs and Richard thinks the top is in, they move up another 10x. So you do 10 and then you do 10. That gives you around the 100x. That would be the optimistic scenario. So 100x would be like Pulse being 55x sack price. PulseX would be like 30x sack price. 100x would be $2 hex. Combined hex would be around $2. That's what it would be. And then Inc would be like, $200. That's what it would be. Okay, the average scenario, going down the yellow now, average is 28x. So this may or may not involve pDAI. It's really hard. It's kind of like something in the middle. I don't know. And it would be like PulseChain core coins move up 8. This is average. I'm like, hey, this is kind of like an average where let's actually go up and let's look at the Pulse price chart. It would be Pulse moves up an 8x first. Okay, 8x around, let's say 4x day sack price. So it's 8x from here. Everyone thinks it's over. Comes back down. And then towards the end of the cycle, somehow, maybe actually it might be like this. You never know, it might be up 2, come up 8, 4. Depends on Ethereum fans. And then everyone thinks it's over. And then pDAI pegs and we do like a move up. Okay. And that gives PLS around 15x day one sack price, Pulse to 15x. So it's 28x from today in this scenario. Now, I want to let you know something. Crowd consensus is 35x sack price. So I'm telling you from all the surveys, I've checked it out, checked other people's. You guys, everyone expects 35x on average, which is from today, 63x. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you. Okay. the crowd consensus for 2021, 2022, 2020, not 2021. Okay, so just 2022, 2023, and 2024, the crowd consensus each time was down 90% from expectations. You divide it by 10. That's how off the crowd was, okay? So, like in 2022, everybody expected 25 cents at the end of the year. It was at 2.5. Same as 2023. And then 2024, same. So pretty much we're off factor of 10 every time. So you might say to me, hey, but it's a bull market year now. So are they going to get it wrong by a factor of 10 to 1? I don't know. That's you, the market, telling me. But if, like, you say, hey, what's an average purse case? What's 90% drop from here? You end at like 3.5x day one sack. So that's funny how the crowd expects 35x. Divide that by 10, you get 3 to 4x day one sack here. But also the crowd is contrarian against pDAI. The crowd isn't contrarian. We're contrarian. So the pDAI, first off, unicorn, the crowd, most people don't even believe it. They don't trust it. Most of the people in PulseChain. As you know, friends, I've got the pDAI logo out here. So interesting, isn't it? To think about that thing happening where the crowd doesn't understand the pDAI thing on average. Obviously you do, you've watched my videos, but if they don't understand it, maybe that's how they get shocked at the end of this year. Maybe, friends, maybe we only are, by the end of this year, only 3 to 4x stack price. Everyone thinks it's over, and then Richard actually does the loop. Okay. Remember, overwhelmingly, Hex only pumped on side for people after Richard thought the top was in for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Only after, not before. This is fake pump. You understand? This part here is fake pump. Why? This is day one adoption amplifier. Everyone's prices are here. So this is range mode here. This is no. And by the way, I warned everyone about this a year ago. But what I was saying, this was considered massive FUD. Okay, it was but because I love you all, obviously I'd have no vengeance in my blood to do that. But I was considered a massive FUDder for saying, hey, the reality is we bought too high in the sack. We got basically trashed. It's actually garbage. Product market fit can't sustain this. We're just, yes. That was considered very, very, very contrarian because a lot of people believe by the end of this year, but many people believe by the end of last year would be up 10x some sack price. And this year would be at least 20x sack price. But yeah, we're like literally divide that by 30 pretty much, down 98% from expectations. So this is what happened, right? So Richard thinks the top is in May, April, May. Look what ends up happening. We start walking up. 1, 2, 3, 4. It starts going up. You see that by June, 1 or 2 months later, it was cranking. What if October peaks? October peaks at the end of this year for Bitcoin. November Ethereum peaks, and then December they crash, and then January we start moving up. You know, that would be repeating the same pattern. That would be it. You know, because if we have like a Donald Trump cycle, maybe Richard doesn't think the top is in until later on. So we'll see. But remember, that scenario I'm showing you was the average. It's 28x from today. And in this scenario, why 28x on me? Why'd you put that? It's because it stops at 100 billion market cap. So I go, well, 8 times out of 8, coin stopped at 100 billion market cap. You know, so that would, I'm just showing you what would the 100 billion stop out here. That would be it. So yeah, so you have the 1000x, the 100x, 28, and then we go into the poop scenarios. A poop scenario is only 50 billion, which is, why is it poop? That's 14x from today. That is, it's poop because Hex in 2021 peaked at 50 billion. So if we just got back to 50 billion, then yeah, it'd be disgusting. Pretty much a failure. Like you've just round tripped everything. And that's what actually happened to XRP, unfortunately. XRP's market cap just came back if you go look at it right here, XRP's market cap, remember it peaked 130 billion or around the 100. See, XRP 100 billion, it peaked 2017, came back 2021 near it, and it was over. Okay, so that's why just looking at that, coming back to that all-time high, and being Hex, that'll be yes, very, very poop. And the bear market is like a bear case is 8x or lower. 8x would literally just be matching what we roughly expect others and the average altcoin to do if crypto grew to 10 trillion by the end of this year. So that 50% retrace, you might say something, why is that the bear if it's 8x? That's because EOS, I'll show you now, EOS, which is obviously poop, EOS did a 50% retrace in the last bull market, okay, on its US dollar pair. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. It did a 50% retrace right here. See this? This is where it wicked up to, right up to there. So if you draw a fib from the top to the bottom, look at this. EOS came, here's 50%. It actually came back to like 61%, but like, yeah, around 50% you're going to be getting out. Now, who let EOS guys out? Not that they got out, but who let them out here? Well, because there's so much euphoria and FOMO and stuff out here in the market, people who made a lot of money, traders, institutions, they just started hunting prices on centralized exchanges. That's most likely what happened. They just like started going, oh, everything else is gone. Let me just go into this, you know. Now, the real value is EOS BTC. And by value, I mean scam, because look at this. This was EOS BTC's high. So all it did was, man, like it rallied still down 90%. So from the bottom, it rallied up like 2%, but this is disgusting. This is like January of the bull market. Basically, there's like total trap out here, okay? So I'm just showing that's a bear case. But EOS, no community, no belief. It wasn't EVM, nothing happened. EOS grifted everybody, literally biggest scam in history. They should have jailed these guys. Just, they took everyone's money. They bought Bitcoin with it. They're just sitting around. They've got like, what, 140,000 BTC. And yes, that's what they did. So there you go, friends. That is all the scenarios out here. You know, the anti-gravity optimistic. What do you think is going to happen? I know it's cool just to think about, hey, what are different forecasts? Everyone's praying for very high prices out here. So am I. I'm praying for that. I don't know, of course, what's going to happen. People who do claim to know, like I said, remember Warren Buffett, man, it just tells you more about the forecaster. It tells you about the forecaster. It doesn't tell you about what's actually going to happen in the future. I've just at least prepared you for different scenarios out here. Remember, if XRP right now is 180 billion market cap, I know a lot of people look into it, but it hit 101, 2, and then it finally went up as well. That's something to consider. But ultimately, all comes down to others. It comes down to the altcoins against Bitcoin. That's what it comes down to. This is euphoria. Wave 1, wave 2. That's what you want to see. Right now, we aren't moving up here. So if we come up and do this, prices will be unlocked. Don't know how high they are. What do you think? Like, subscribe, belly button, all. Catch you soon.